I'm delighted to be joined now by Andrew McGowan of Kilmacud Crokes ahead of the AIB GA All-Ireland Football Senior Club Championship semi-final this Sunday, January the 8th against Kerins O'Rahilly at Croke Park at 1:30. The AIB GA All-Ireland Championship features some of #the toughest players from communities all across Ireland. It is these very communities that the players represent that make the AIB GA All-Ireland Club Championships unique. Now in its 32nd year supporting the GA Club Championships, AIB is extremely proud to once again celebrate the communities that play such a role in sustaining our national games. Andrew, how are things with you? Excited for the weekend?
Yeah, very excited. It's been a bit of a gap than normal. They're normally 2 weeks apart, but we've had, at the moment, it's been 4 weeks, so we've had 4 weeks to look forward to this.
Was it nice to even have just a chance to take a breather?
It wasn't much of a breather, unfortunately. We kind of just used the extra time we had. We were gifted with an extra few weeks. Usually, 2 weeks is very, very short time to really make a lot of progress. That could be fitness, that could be anything. But yeah, those extra weeks, we utilized them as much as we could. And now we're just kind of settling down into the sprint that's on Sunday.
Yeah, and like you're a team that's very used to Croke Park at this stage. Like you played Leinster Club semi-final and final, obviously the All-Ireland last year, and you've been there again this year. So I presume all the players are very comfortable on that stage.
Yeah, it's such a great experience playing there every time, and I suppose it's such a gift at this time of year. We've had snow, we've had rain, frost, everything tearing up all pitches around the country. So it's nice that we know that the game that we're going into, the pitch is always going to be in very good nick, like regardless of the weather. So yeah, looking forward to this. It's really, really like we're privileged to have the opportunity to play there as much as we have.
Yeah, and like it probably feels like you've had this never-ending season. Obviously, last year getting all the way to the final, you were involved with Dublin there this past season as well, and then you're back into it again. Do you know anything other than preparing for training and washing gear?
Not really. No, it's been very condensed. Last year was a long season, went into February. Obviously, we had some heartbreak in February, but after that, we had a bit of time to settle down, which was nice. We went on a little trip together. Use that trip as basically just draw a line in the sand, forget about it, let's move on, and well, not forget about it, but carry forward the lessons, but forget about everything else, and kind of just use it as a driving factor towards this season.
Where did you go on the break?
Marbella.
Not so bad. How did you get on? Was it the full panel?
Yeah, it was panel and management. It was a nice kind of thing to get over because we got a little bit distant after the game. Everyone kind of like did their own thing for a few weeks after because we didn't have football. So it was a really, really nice thing to kind of just cut off everything else and really get back into training, get into the league and prepare for the next year.
Okay, very good. So like if you do talk about the All-Ireland final last year, can you tell us your memory of the last few seconds of the game? Because like after what happened in both the hurling and the football All-Ireland club finals, I was just pure shocked, stunned both times. But what was your memory of the last few seconds?
They weren't good ones. I remember after they got the goal, you kind of got that bit of a gut-sinking feeling. Anyone who's ever played the sport and had that kind of experience knows exactly what I'm talking about. You start that isolated feeling, but like I didn't rule it out. Like we were only a point down at the time. I still thought that we would have been able to scrape that point back. They slowed us down very well though, and I think like when you look to our subs and stuff like that, they have so much energy coming on. They've been such a key factor in how we play that there was never that kind of complete loss. Like I felt that we were still in it, and then obviously the attack didn't work out the way we wanted, and the final whistle went, and it was it was really tough, and we're still carrying that heartache of that last whatever it is 2 minutes. So we kind of just tried to channel that towards our desire of getting back to where we were and try right the wrong or try finish out what we failed to finish the year before.
And then like when you saw Shane Walsh was coming over to the club, I mean his performances since, and in particular I was on the sideline, so very close to for the semi-final against Thomas Davis, and just listening to him almost organising the team on the field to come in straight away and be that comfortable. Great sign of both the environment you have and him as a player.
Yeah, look, he came into the team so easily. As I've said it before, he not only brought, like, there was no question about his talent, but what he also brought is he added to the culture here. Like, he's bought into every, like, a culture off the pitch is just as important as on, and he's hit every stop. So, yeah, look, he's great to have into the team, and he bought into our system very quickly. He brought no he brought no ego, no nothing with him of saying that it'll be done this way, be done this way. He's completely slided in. He's done a really magnificent job and just making his place on the team, and he's earned everyone's respect very quickly.
Yeah, and so then, like, the journey that you've had, you won some of the group games quite well. I remember the Temple Oak game you won very well. You won Thomas Davis well. Tough game against Coola, and then the final as well. And the Fianna put up a decent challenge as well. But like, what would you talk about? What would you say about your form this year?
Look, our form has been it can be hit or miss. I think it all comes down to how much effort that we put in. I think the Fianna they're a very strong team. They're only getting better. They have the players, they have the mindsets. The same with Coola. They're becoming a much more stronger team in football than in previous years. And look, it's to almost look forward to, because like those challenges you kind of go after them. But look, we have had a few scrape throughs, some by 1 point, some by 2 points. But like at the end of the day, we always say you only need one more point than the other team to win the game. It doesn't have to be a much of a high scoring game or to beat the team by a high score. 1 point will do it. So we've had some of those, and look, our form has been good, but I always feel like that we can push it further, and we haven't hit that perfect performance yet, but we're always striving to hit it.
Yeah, like you are really limiting the opposition in these games. Just looking at the scores, and Ace did put up 14, fair enough, but like Portarlington, after how hard they pushed you the year before, only scored 4. The Downs only scored 8. Like, you seem to be a team that's very good at managing games.
Yeah, we didn't manage a couple of games too well now in the second half. I think against Portarlington we did exactly what we set out to do in the first half. I think we did really well. I think come the second half though, we kind of like we took the foot off the gas a little bit, and they punished us massively for it. They started getting points consistently, and that's not how we want to finish out games. If we've taken any bloody lessons from Leinster in 2018 and the All-Ireland final last year, is just to finish out the game, and we put a lot of focus on that, and it's some of those games where we didn't finish out as strong as we like wasn't good enough. I think it's always good to come out of a game having stuff to learn on, stuff to progress on.
And like, obviously it's been quite a while since you won an All-Ireland club title. 2009, I think it was the last time. Yeah. Were you there that day? Do you have any memories of it?
Look, my memory isn't great from that far back, but yeah, and like as I said before, this was also a massive factor in keeping people in the club, because the amount of work and the amount of effort that gets put in to bringing people into Crokes from around the community to play football, hurling, camogie, and the fact that like when we were younger, when we were kids, and when we saw them winning, we saw these giants winning this on these All Irelands. I think that was such a massive factor in the keeping of players, as opposed to just having a lot of number of players and having to fizzle out over the younger ages. And the way we see that now is that like we're having some success with Leinster and Dublin over the last few years, and we're hoping that the youth will see that and they'll be at the games and they'll realize that the potential is there for them to win it too, and hoping that they'll not only just play with the underage but kind of stick it into senior as well.
What are you expecting from Kerins O'Rahilly? Like, they've had a strange season. They were beaten heavily enough in the Kerry championship, but obviously got through as league champions. Now, they did have injuries and stuff like that, so maybe it was a false reflection in their club championship. But what are you expecting from them?
Yeah, look, that was one game, but at the end of the day, you learn a lot from getting beaten like that, and you can see in the other games, and like any team that's able to scrape through a win like that is a team that knows how to win. Like winning games by 1-2 points is not easy, and it just shows the kind of characters that they have in the team and the mentality that they have. But physically, like, look, they're a big team. They have great fielders. They have some key men that if we don't look after, that'll punish us massively. So like we've a really difficult challenge this Sunday. There's no question about that, and all we can do is focus on ourselves now until then. And
so in terms of what was I going to ask you? Yeah, away from football, because obviously I can imagine it takes up a huge amount of your time. What do you do and what do you work at and spend your kind of downtime
at? As in my job?
Yeah.
So, well, I'm a DevOps engineer for a global payroll company called Amidas. I think Amidas actually sponsored Kilmacud for some of the understage stuff. But yeah, that's what I pretty much spend my time doing. Like, you don't really have much time to do anything else while this is going on, especially during championship. And that was kind of what it was nice as well over Christmas, that not that people would be going out, but it's more so you have a chance to kind of meet up with people that you wouldn't normally get to, because like this stuff is week on, week off. Like it's very flat out, and just to get a chance to go see family, see friends that you don't get to see that are outside the bubble of Kilmacud or any people from distance. But yeah, it was nice to have that as well.
Yeah. What to the layman? What's involved in DevOps?
Well, to put it the best way I can would be if you get what a software engineer is to applications, a DevOps engineer is to tech infrastructure.
Okay.
If that makes any sense.
It makes a certain amount of sense. I'm going to do a quick Q&A with you as well to finish up. You can answer them as short as you like. They're not that serious. But what do you remember your first time ever being at Croke Park?
My first time ever in Croke Park was back when I was playing minor. It was with Dublin minor. It was against Kildare in the final. Now, I was doing well up until a few weeks before, so I was dropped for that game and I came on at the end and we won the Leinster, which was great. And then followed by that, where my next experience was then against Donegal, where unfortunately we lost just before Dublin actually lost to Donegal themselves in that semi-final all those years ago.
And was that the time against Kildare? Was that the time Paul Mescal was playing against you?
Oh, I think he might have been a year above me.
Okay.
Yeah, I think he might have a year, but he's definitely playing around that time.
Yeah. Okay, who's your favorite player of all time?
Favorite player of all time in anything?
No, Gaelic football.
Gaelic football. That's a very tough one now if I think back. You put me on the spot with that one.
Yeah.
It'd probably have to be along the lines of any of the kind of Crokes giants that went before us. So the likes of Johnny McGee, Darren McGee, Mark Vaughan, he's still lingering about sometimes with us. But just because back in those years when you used to see them, you saw them as these giants and you watched them play, and it was so kind of like realistic because you were also wearing that jersey as well. So I wouldn't say I have a favorite. There's no one that just jumps out at me and say he's my absolute favorite, but I'd say that kind of era of players for Kilmacud, I've looked up to them a lot.
Yeah. Who's been your toughest opponent and why?
A person or
person, yeah, player.
Person. I'd have to say Conor Callahan.
Yeah. Why?
Just whenever I've marked him in training and stuff like that, he's gotten the better of me probably every time now. I haven't marked him in a good while, but if we're talking back over the years of whenever I've had to mark him, he's certainly done a number on me. So
yeah, I know the feeling from hurling training. What's the team you most like to beat? That could be club, county, college, whatever.
Well, there's no team that we set out that we'd love to beat, but I suppose if you're looking at last year, we don't hold grudges, but it'd be nice to play Kilcoo again, just to kind of right the wrong. But that by no means that we came back here to come back and beat Kilcoo. We came back to try get what we missed out on last year. But I suppose it would be pretty obvious one to try give a crack at Kilcoo again, but unfortunately we won't get that chance.
Who's been the biggest influence in your career?
I'd be my brother.
Oh yeah,
my older brother. Yeah, 100%. I played Gaelic football and stuff, but I didn't really have the full buy into it when I was younger. And I used to watch him playing. Used to play minor with Dublin, and I used to watch him and the likes of Shane Carthy and all of that age, and Davy Byrne and all them. And I just thought that was really what kind of spiked my desire to try play football and try play at the highest level because of watching him do it.
What's been the biggest disappointment of your career?
Last year.
Okay. Who's the joker on the Kilmacud panel?
The joker? I'd have to say either Rory O'Carroll or Conor Casey.
And what about them makes them the jokers?
Conor Casey's just funny in general, and then Rory's just, he's a gas man, he's unique.
Yeah. Who's the best trainer?
The best trainer? Cian O'Connor. Oh, I mean management or player?
Oh, player.
Player, Cian O'Connor.
Who's the best dressed and the worst dressed?
Worst dressed, probably Tom Fox. Best dressed, probably Craig Diaz.
And what does Tom Fox wear that's so bad?
The same thing over and over again.
Okay.
It's just
What player from another sport do you admire?
I was always Roy Keane. It's very, very basic and simple, but it was always Roy Keane as well.
Yeah, and what manager from another sport do you admire?
Oh God, put me on the spot. Mick McCarthy.
Mick McCarthy, right? Didn't expect that one. And then just a final thing, just in terms of like Dublin aspirations. You know, you were in there before with Jim Gavin, and then last year as well, Desi Farrell. Like, what's your sort of ambitions with Dublin? And like, obviously, there's huge competition, and the likes of Jack McCaffrey's back in, so it's going to be tough. But what are your aspirations there?
Yeah, like it's tough as well at the moment to try even think about anything else. Because we've all been narrowing the focus to this weekend's. Like, look, a lot of time it's out of my control as well. All I try to do is perform the best I can with club, and if I do ever get those chances, I do try my best to perform. So that's essentially all I can do.
Okay, well, look, great stuff, Andrew, and best of luck at the weekend.
All right, cheers.